This is the High School Crossfire. Welcome back.
Panel, look, what does the team arguing in opposition come and tell us? Even after our first speaker tells them about why we need to set parameters as a nation, they think that it is not right because they think that deforestation is a sort of challenge that is addressed by the whole world. However, Panel, we think that when they come and argue for parameters such as the world, think that this is not something that is practical because we've seen countries actually come and sign treaties to protect the environment and nothing has been done. We've seen treaties such as the Paris Accord and nothing has been done. Countries have still continued to actually neglect the environment and do not take this as important. So I think that then we need, as a country like Uganda, they misunderstand us in the first place when you tell them that, hey, Uganda cannot afford the sort of measures that America can. Look at Uganda as a low developing country. This means that we cannot afford things like catalytic converters, gas filters, and carbon filters. So what then is our only contribution to having a green environment? Show you how countries like America and China that emit the most do not necessarily care about minor countries like Uganda. This is because for them they can afford sort of catalytic converters because they have the money, right? But then an LDC like Uganda cannot afford those things. So the only way we can protect our environment is by protecting what we have, and that is the forest that we have. Because to show you that Uganda has been blessed with a very big amount of vegetation. However, we've seen that lately Uganda's vegetation has reduced from 88% to almost 24%, right? What this means is that if we do not take any stand, we then do not have any to protect. One, we'll show you about how we are having long-term shifts in seasons, and this is necessarily hampering the sort of agriculture that Uganda necessarily benefits on. Show you that in seasons when people expect to be planting, there's no rainfall. This means that people are going to suffer from problems such as food insecurity and other problems such as famine and drought, something that we think is problematic. So what then we come and argue for? We come and tell them that it is best as a country in Uganda that we protect our environment. We think that at a point in time when Uganda protects the environment, and other countries look and can actually copy from us. Because when they see that a country as an LDC like Uganda has done this, think that they then have to they then look at that example and then have to copy from us, right? Think that at a point in time when Uganda does this as an example, countries like Rwanda, countries like Kenya and our neighbors, and hence it shall be spread to the whole globe, rather than sitting back and actually saying that let us wait for help from other people. Taken.
Speaker, you claim that you want to preserve a green environment while you rule out the possibility of sustainable energy, claiming that Uganda is a low development country. How realistic is your work plan?
Panel, look, when we come and tell you that we are against deforestation, we do not necessarily say that we're not taking in any ideas of sustainable energy. We do not disagree with ideas like biogas or ideas like solar energy or hydroelectric power. These are not ideas that we disagree with. However, what we are saying is these companies necessarily contribute a lot to the deforestation through the supply chain. My first speaker comes and tells you about how packaging is done in cardboard, and this is a product of wood. And we think that these countries, because most of the companies that are existing in Uganda are foreign companies, what that means is they do not care about what they do in Uganda. They do not care about the gases they emit because end of the day, they are not Ugandan, and all they care about is profit repatriation. That they only care about maximizing their profits. So they do not care about their environmental practices. So this is why we come and say that we need to hold them financially and legally accountable. My first speaker gives you ways how we are going to do this. He tells you about how we are going to carry out things like sensitization of the masses. When we have the masses involved in this, we think that then the masses can actually coerce these people because these companies need buy-in from society, right? So at a point in time when they think this is attacked because the people have been told about the dangers of the emissions that they carry on or the dangers of the deforestation that they carry on, think that because they need to avoid ideas such as eco-terrorism for the people, because the people clearly show you that they want a safe environment. People have an incentive to protect the environment because they need to protect their sort of food, that is agriculture. So at a point in time when we tell them that these companies are affecting this, we think that they then have an incentive to actually hold these companies accountable.
Dear judges, it seems that the team of farmers have forgotten that any effect of deforestation in any country cannot face that country alone. Deforestation leads to global warming. Global warming, a problem of the whole globe. And now you want us to narrow the parameter to only Uganda? No, it is an issue that should be addressed globally. Secondly, they're talking about our house having many countries that are not actually fulfilling our aims. But still we are saying we are not coming as countries. We are coming as the United Nations Forum on Forests, as the body, to force these respective governments to undertake the role that they play in conserving forests. The question of today is that the presence of deforestation, is it due to companies or due to the reluctancy of governments. We as the negators are here to say that they are the governments. Because first of all, we as the negators draw back to the origin of a company. A company is given a license by the government in any country where they exist.
POI speaker.
A company continues to be, the license continues to be renewed every single year.
POI speaker on the floor.
The company is, the license of the company always is renewed. Now, how are these governments continuing to renew the licenses of countries that are carrying out deforestation?
Speaker.
This is the reluctancy of the government because they already know that these companies are cutting down trees and they continue to license them. We as the United Nations Forum on Forests are holding these governments responsible for the deforestation of such companies. We are also here to say that such governments should be called to the international criminal courts and held responsible for the increasing deforestation cases in their countries. The government itself has the power to control, to maintain its forest cover in its country at different supply chains, be it production, be it distribution. At the production level, the government itself, actually, dear judges, the team of farmers claim that the government cares a lot about its forest cover and how they are planning to implement laws in Uganda. Have we forgotten that our own government, taking their parameters, Uganda, are the ones giving the forest cover to companies? For example, the NEMA approved a proposal by Oma Sugar Company Limited to take 9 square miles out of the 21.4 square miles of the forest cover for sugarcane growing, claiming that the land given was only covered by grass. Sincerely, isn't this a problem of a company, of the government? They're not being put under pressure. When the governments are put under pressure by the United Nations Forum on Forests, that is when they'll know that they play a key role in maintaining their forest cover. For example, the government of Uganda was put under pressure when it intruded into the Democratic Republic of Congo and tampered with the mineral deposits. How did the government of Uganda react? Haven't they felt the impact of doing something against the laws? That is what we are saying. We should make each of these governments responsible for what they're doing. And believe us as team negators, the governments will clearly take their role. Secondly, we are saying that the governments themselves have the power and the duty to control forest cover because the companies are profit-minded. We cannot leave the fight to maintain our forest cover to companies that are profit-minded. Secondly, these people are talking about the people. We are not talking about people here. The question is about companies, or what we are talking about, the governments. Dear judges, with that, we say that governments should get different solutions. All we want as the United Nations Forum on Forest is to curb the issue on forests, is to curb the issue of deforestation. Let them get alternative sources of energy. The Lasey law on illegal buying of goods from illegally cleared forests still stands in each and every country. And many countries have breached that law. That is why we are blaming governments and we are saying that companies should really not be held legally and financially accountable for deforestation. Thank you very much.
This is the High School Crossfire. We'll be back in a minute.